perfect.
So nothing I'd like to safe travels.
Have you heard any
so
word about the other provinces?
Elder Scrolls IV Oblivion is back, baby! Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Seth the Nomad. You're watching Nomad Games, and welcome to something that I am so excited about. I am so excited to be talking about the Elder Scrolls IV Oblivion in 2025. This is a game that released in 2006, and it was literally the turning point in my gaming life. I know this sounds kind of cringy, but like, honestly, I grew up with so many games like Halo, the original Call of Duties, classic Sega Genesis games like Sonic, and a bunch of Nintendo games. But those were all games that were like kind of communal in a way, like that, like my family played those, so I played them also. This was the first game that I discovered on my own, obsessed over, pored over magazine pages until my eyes were sore, and waited on the edge of my seat until this game finally came out. And when it did, I just put so many hours into it, and it really like changed my gaming life, if you will. This was a very important one for me, and now to see it remastered, looking like this, shadow dropped out of nowhere, is just really fun. Obviously, we knew that this game was coming out. There have been so many leaks. Pretty much gaming news these days is just what leaker leaks something. It's not necessarily like actual gaming news or journalism. Well, it is journalism, but it's like leaks. Like leaks is how we get our news. So we knew this game was coming out for a while. The way this review is going to work is we are going to talk about the good, the bad, and the jank. And the jank is going to also be the second good section. So let's hop into it.
Stop talking.
It brings me so much joy to be talking about the Elder Scrolls IV Oblivion in 2025. There were many concerns going into this remaster. Is it going to be a complete remake? Is it just going to be a remaster? What are they going to do to the combat? What are they going to do to the dialogue? What are they going to do to the jank?
Goodbye.
Leave me alone.
All that stuff. We didn't really know how they were going to recapture what Oblivion was, because Oblivion was just an amazing game. Like, don't get me wrong, an amazing game, but so meme-worthy and so funny, and I could just spend hours and hours and days watching clips of like ridiculous nonsense that happens in this game. Let's talk about the good. Right off the rip, it feels like Elder Scrolls IV Oblivion did. Somehow they managed to capture the magic of what the game was. Obviously, the music is still there. A lot of the voice lines are still there. They did re-record some voice lines and added new ones in. I believe they mentioned something about making species-specific style voices for each species. So that's in there. There's new voice lines. There's old voice lines. Everything's in there. You got Patrick Stewart in there. You got Sean Bean in there. You got Linda Carter in there. They even left that line of dialogue where the voice actor wanted to like retake it. And you'll this.
Temple all on the same night. Wait a minute, let me do that one again. I heard the thieves broke into the arcane.
The visuals are stunning in this game. Now, there is ray tracing in this game. They had a huge uplift, so much world clutter. The lighting is absolutely stunning. I'll just put up on screen some images that I've captured through my gameplay. Just unbelievable to play Oblivion and have it look like this. This is what I wanted my games to look like when I started modding them, especially with Skyrim. I did a lot of like the ENBs and things like that to add depth of field into the world, to add like kind of HDR, more HDR style lighting into the world. This just has it. I cannot believe that I'm playing one of my favorite games of all time and it looks like this. So they obviously updated the face models and the animations. They still look like the original characters that they're supposed to, which is kind of uncanny and horrifying sometimes, but now just in higher definition and you know, graphical techniques. But it still looks good. It looks like Oblivion, but it looks good. This would be something where if this game wasn't a game from 2006 and it released today, people would be a little bit like, what the heck is up with those faces? But at the same time, it still looks good. It's just a style. That's the style. So this looks like, again, I'll say this over and over, what I played in 2006, but now with today's graphics. It's really cool what they did, and the animations look pretty good. Some of them still look weird, like how the heck is your mouth doing that? You kind of look like the Joker with the cotton balls or the Q-tips kind of stuck in your mouth to keep it looking like that. But other than that, I mean, for the most part, animations look good. And not just the facial animations, but they added some new animations into the game. So like running diagonally, you're not just running straight and skirting diagonally. And they added a new running animation. There's tons of new animations in the game. And to make third person feel a little bit more cohesive and a little bit more playable, they did a couple things. They added the crosshair. They just made it overall a better experience in third person. The running animation, I have some things to say about that. We'll put that kind of in the bad section. One last note on the lighting techniques and everything, just the day-night cycle is so good. Obviously this was there in the original game, but now it's just so beautiful with the graphical update, and mornings and sunsets just look unbelievable. And I captured this bit of footage here just to see how smooth the minute-to-minute day-night cycle is. Like, I've seen games, even modern games, where it kind of ticks by really aggressively and it doesn't look smooth. Look at the lighting on this building as I walk by it, just smoothly panning as the sun rises. So beautiful, like unbelievable what Virtuos was able to do with the visuals in this one. Another good thing as a character creator, you can make a character look like a human character, like a modern day video game character, but you can still make them look like utter nonsense and nightmare fuel. So that's pretty cool. I'm really glad they left the character creator open, let's just say, to creativity. The effects look really good, like when you do clairvoyance or just your fire bolts or snowballs or anything like that. Like, that stuff looks pretty dang good, so I'm happy that they obviously upped the effects. It would be kind of weird if they didn't, but fire looked a little weird in the old ones. It was just kind of like a blur of orange and yellow, and now it actually looks like fire. That's good. Another good thing is the menu. So I was worried when we started hearing leaks a couple of months ago that they were going to update the UI for a younger audience. And I don't mean to roll my eyes at a younger audience. That's not what I mean. I just mean that phrase. When a studio thinks that way, it usually doesn't mean good things. However, in this instance, the menu and the UI still does remind me of and give me the Elder Scrolls IV Oblivion vibes, but it is updated and it does look nicer, in my opinion. Like, obviously there are going to be some people who are going to be diehard, like, no, give me the exact menu, the exact way it was. There's some complaints about the map, which we'll talk about in a second, but for the most part, I think they nailed the look of the UI, and I think the UX is good. I'm not a big fan of horizontal menus, but they did the best they could with a horizontal menu, because there's a lot of stuff in the menus for this game. You have right here, you're going to be seeing the, your character specs, your birth sign, your major skills, your minor skills, all your little stats that you do going through the game, the days past, the quests that you've completed and things like that. And then you're also going to be getting your inventory. So you have your weapons, your armor, and all these things. You got to find your repair hammers and this. You can tab over within these major tabs. And then, obviously your all items. Then if you tab over again, you get to your magic, where you're going to have your self magic, your touch magic, your target magic, so all your spells and things like that. The map took away the quick tab to go to the localized map. However, a lot of people I'm still seeing have not figured this out yet. You can scroll in all the way if you're on PC, and you can get a localized map if you scroll in all the way. Now, the thing that sucks is it does take a lot of scrolling to do that. Like, my mouse that I use doesn't have one of those infinite scrolls. That's only my editing mouse, not my gaming mouse. So it's like not easy to get to. You gotta but you can also just click on the top right and get to the localized map. There's a little button up here where you click to the top right, localized map. I don't know how it works on consoles, sorry, but I'm sure it's there. The other cool thing that they added to the map is you can actually toggle on and off the different types of things you want to see on the map. So do you want to see cities? Do you want to see caves? Do you want to see shrines? You can deselect them all. You can select them all. Very cool function for the map. Then you got the help map. Then you got the system where you can save, and then you can also do your settings. Really quick, these are my settings that I have. I have an RTX 4080 and what's my CPU? A Ryzen 9 7900X, I think. So pretty ballin' PC. I saved up for it, that's for sure. Pretty much the menu turned out about as good as it could for updating it for a modern audience or for a younger audience. I think they did a pretty good job. Obviously these are old features, but just playing an Elder Scrolls game just reminds me how much some AAA games have just fallen off. Not to just like despair all the other ones, because like even though Avowed didn't have nearly as much, I did like Avowed, but it's just amazing how much there is to do in this game and how much of a true role-playing experience this really is. Do you want to just do alchemy? You can just forage materials and ingredients and do alchemy. The different types of magic there are is astounding. You can do different types of combat and everything. You can be a sneak archer, you can be a brute, you can be a battle mage, you can do so much things. And I know a lot of games have these things, and I'm not doing a great job of explaining just how much there is to do. But if you've played this game, whether it's the remaster or the 2006 original release, you know how much there is to do in this game. And it's so amazing playing a Bethesda game in 2025 that's like this. Starfield didn't really have this kind of exploration. But speaking of Avowed, they did update the combat a little bit. I mentioned in a previous video that I would hope they would just go the full Avowed route, because the combat was really good melee combat. And while it's not quite there, it's somewhere between Elder Scrolls 4 and Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. So they did a decent job. There's hit reactions now, there's blood spatter as you're hitting them. So when you hit a target, they actually reel back. It's not just swinging and you've seen the original gameplay. It's not just swinging wildly. Well, there is still that. Anyways, you know what I'm saying. There's hit reactions and blood spatter. And in third person, it looks a little better as well. So they updated the combat about as much as they could while still keeping it feeling like Elder Scrolls IV Oblivion. So something in the good, and this is just kind of with the original game, is the music. They kept the original music from Jeremy Soule. I absolutely adore this soundtrack. I will just put this soundtrack on in the background. Even before the Oblivion Remastered was a thing, I would just have this on in the background. I love the music so much. And it doesn't sound like they remastered it in any sort of way. Maybe they did, but it just seems like the original music. Okay, let's move on to the bad. We're just gonna start off with performance. This is a big one, especially on PC. They launched the game with pretty subpar performance. Like the second I did my step out moment, the game went from like 80 to 120 frames per second down to like 40. I'm playing games on my PC right now like Horizon Forbidden West, which in my opinion, in some instances anyways, looks better than this game. No issues like that with DLSS on. I had to turn frame gen on, and then obviously over the weekend they did that patch that turned off DLSS and frame gen and stuff. So now that they've repatched it back to what it was, I am playing with DLSS and frame gen on. So it's running smooth. I'm getting 80 to 100 frames again, even in some instances, but it does drop. It does drop. So performance, they need to do a little bit of tweaking there. I don't really know what it is like on console, but I have heard it's similar. And on the note of performance, I've had a few crashes. I've had maybe 4 crashes in the game in the 1.2 days I've been playing it of actual in-game time. So that's something that's kind of crummy, but you know, that happens with games. I hope they can figure out a way, because even though this game does look beautiful, and I'm sure there are complications with having, Gamebryo or the original creation engine be the brain and the Unreal 5 engine be the body. I'm sure there are complications with that, but they should be able to figure this out. I mean, it's not a new game. It's still the original brain of the game. So hopefully they can figure that out. Oh, and here's a little tip regarding performance. Turn off screen space reflections. I, again, don't know if this is on console, but on PC, it is doing ray tracing reflections and screen space reflections at the same time. And screen space reflections is on by default. Turn it off, because with it on, you'll get this weird little reflection where you're seeing your blade in your hand reflect into the sea, and the second you turn it off, it's gone. And you still have the ray trace reflections, which is nice, but yeah, you don't have to deal with the jankiness of both types of reflections being on. I don't know why they did that by default, but there you go. Little tip for you there. Okay, and then the last section here, the jank. This is the secondary good section. So the jank of Oblivion is a good thing. There are some things that are obviously game breaking that kind of suck, but I haven't really experienced too many things like that. It's more so just like the utter nonsense of what the characters do, what they say to each other.
Stop talking.
And then some bugs that are a little distracting, but it's like, it kind of brings you back. It's kind of like, I'm home. Like, this is what I remember when I was a teenager playing this game. And yes, you have plenty of bugs. You can find tons and tons of clips online of all the jank. People are posting things that like were in the original that you can now see with the updated graphics and everything. So they left it all in there. Like, Bethesda knows. They know what they did back in 2006. You know what you did. You know what you did. You got all the weird things, like for some reason, whenever you load into an area with enemies, the enemies attack your horse. They just don't like your horse. They just go for the throat on that thing. I don't really necessarily know why, but I have this clip here to show you. I have this really funny clip where I loaded into the Imperial Market District. Everyone that was there, instead of being spread out and randomly talking to each other, they were all clumped together, and they were all talking at the same time. It was beautiful to see.
I've heard
So
others
if you're
say
looking
the
for
same.
soul gems,
Heard any
that's
news
the
from the
place
other
to go.
provinces?
Level perfect.
So nothing I'd like to safe travels.
Have you heard any
So I've
word about
heard.
the other provinces?
And that's pretty much what I want to say about the game. Like, Bethesda and Virtuos really understood what they were doing. They really understood why people love this game, what makes it actually genuinely good, and what makes it ironically and comedically and meme-worthy good. They understood. They just totally got it, and they totally nailed it. Besides the performance issues, I cannot think of a bad thing to say about this iteration of the game. It's still everything there. Oh, and I forgot to mention, they also have all the DLC in the game. So I think they even added something extra. So you get everything the Elder Scrolls IV Oblivion had to offer in this remaster. What is it, 50 or 60 bucks? Like for a normal video game price, not $80, Mario Kart, and you get everything in this game. And yes, granted, it is a almost 20 years old game, but what they did with it makes it feel new and familiar. And I think that's a reasonable price for that. So really good on you, Bethesda and Virtuos, and I hope to see more of this stuff. We know we're probably also getting a Fallout 3 remaster. I would love to see them do Skyrim. I would also just love to see Elder Scrolls 6 at some point, so get on that. Overall, I am very pleased with this release. I am just so happy to be talking about this game in this year as an adult playing something that makes me feel like I felt when I was 16. Nostalgia is a really powerful thing, and they absolutely nailed it with this. And keep in mind, this is me being scrutinous, and I'm still overjoyed. I'm nitpicking certain things, like obviously with the performance. I don't think that's really nitpick worthy. That's actually just pick worthy. Don't do that. Acting crazy. And the last thing I want to say about this game is now new people have a much better incentive to go back and experience this game. There is a 16-year-old out there who maybe has heard of this game, or maybe never even has heard of this game, that can now boot up their PC or console and play it and experience what I experienced when I was 16, which was, as corny as it sounds, like a game life-changing thing for me. Like in my gaming life, this was a big deal. This was like a turning point in my gaming life. And now there are other kids that get to experience that, and even adults. Maybe someone was born where they were too young to play it and maybe watched an older sibling play it, or maybe just didn't even. They just missed the mark. Now they can play it with modern graphics and have it be pretty much the same experience, but just look beautiful. And that is special. I think they did a really good job. But I think you should pick this game up. You can get it on Game Pass. That's what I did. I just downloaded it, or you can get it wherever you play your video games. I don't think it's going to be on Nintendo Switch. Maybe it's on Switch too. I'm not sure. Not out yet, but worth it. So moving forward in game reviews, I'm not going to do a 1 through 10 scale rating system. I'm going to come up with a different rating scale. However, in this review, I'm just simply going to highly recommend this game to you. I think that if you were willing to put up with some older game systems and a little bit of performance issues until it either gets fixed or you figure out how to dial in your settings if you're on PC, I think this game is highly worth it. This is one of my favorite games of all time. They stuck true to what really made it special, and they improved upon a lot of different things. And you get all the DLC. You get everything for a reasonable price as well. It's such a good value. It's such a good game. There are so many things to do in this. It's crazy to me how many games just don't have this much depth. Even role-playing games don't have this much depth. We get a lot of them. We do get a lot of them. Baldur's Gate 3, looking at you. Amazing game. Playing an Elder Scrolls game from Bethesda today, seeing as the last one we got was so long ago, is just so exciting, and it leaves a lot of hope for me for the future of Elder Scrolls. And hopefully this can kickstart a whole new generation of people that never got to play it, or maybe they never even heard of it, and now they have, and they can experience what I experienced when I was 16 and fall in love with a true Bethesda Elder Scrolls game. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say. So be sure to like, comment, subscribe in this comment section down below. Make sure you tell us, are you playing the game? Are you not playing the game? If you are, what race are you? What's are you a battle mage? Are you an alchemist? Are you a hand-to-hand guy? Like, what are you doing in the game? I would love to hear it. Tell me about some jank you guys have gotten. That's a huge part of the joy of this game, is the wacky nonsense that happens in the game. So I would love to hear those thoughts. Let's talk all things Elder Scrolls IV Oblivion Remastered in the comments down below, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Jank.